Heidi Sutton Turner, COO of Vanderbloemen, and many of you all have reached out asking me about what the House has just approved as far as an update to the PPP. And so I've updated some slides. I'm going to walk you through them. And let me be very clear. The House has approved it. And that this is changes and in my belief in improvements to the PPP. Now it will go to the Senate, and then from the Senate, if the Senate passes it, then it will go to the President. And so I'm going to walk you through the changes because they're pretty dramatic and they really improve the PPP. And so I want to make sure that everybody understands what they're talking about. So this starts out on page or slide 81 of my slides. You can download these slides. Go to churchcovid19.com, churchcovid19.com, see it down here on the bottom, or schoolcovid19.com, schoolcovid19.com. You can click on this, download all this, starts on slide 81. I've included the House bill here. I'm going to post a blog tonight to where you can actually see the sections that I'm referencing. It will compare the new bill, House Bill 7010, and the CARES Act, the law, and the CARES Act will be in a yellow format, yellow fonts, yellow background, so you'll be able to see it and compare. Because this is my interpretation, just seeing this today, it just got approved, but I wanted to share it with you. Again, we're looking at the just approved. Today would be Thursday, May the 28th. The House approves it, so it goes to the Senate. If the Senate approves, then the President will go to sign it. This bill will improve the Paycheck Protection Program, and these are all of the things that the changes would include. So I'm just going to walk you through these. The first and one of the biggest changes is it's going to change the maturity of the loan, or the term of the loan, of the PPP loan, from 2 years. It's currently 2 years to 5 years. So if this is approved and it's signed into law, the new loan period would go from a 2-year loan period to a 5-year loan period. And if you all remember, the loan is not, so if you have anything that's unforgiven, that's part of your PPP loan, that would turn into a PPP loan. That amount, the way that it currently is right now before the law is, it's 4 months after the end of your covered period, 4 months after the end of your covered period. Your covered period is the 56 days after disbursement. So you have loan disbursement, you have 56 days. Then from 56 days, that's the covered period, from the 56 days out 4 months, that's when your loan, and you would start paying on that loan. So that loan amount now, instead of being a 2-year loan, is a 5-year loan. And that means that your monthly payment will go down. So that would benefit organizations. The other change, this is huge. This is huge. This is a change in that. So currently the covered period, the 56 days from the date of disbursement, that's the covered period. Borrower has the option for just payroll costs to choose an alternative covered period, which is the first day of the first payroll period after disbursement. Then you count your 56 days. In this period, all of the PPP loan must be spent, and non-payroll expenses are capped at 25%. That's currently. The way that is in this law that was approved by the House today, it changes the covered period from 8 weeks or 56 days to 24 weeks or through December 31st, 2020. So it depends on when your loan disbursement is, but it's so at the very minimum, it's going to carry you either whichever is lower, the number of days, 24 weeks or December 31st, 2020. So this is huge. So this gives you an enormous amount of time to make sure that you use all of the loan amount, and it's going to make it super easy for you to use all of the loan amount on payroll costs. So it's really amazing. It's a great change if this happens. The other part is the change in the time to bring back your employees. So currently, the way it currently stands today, because this is just a House bill, this isn't a law, but as it currently stands today, you have until June 30th, 2020 to bring back all of your full-time employee equivalent, FTEs, and increase any reduction that you made in the salary and wages to participate in the safe harbor for loan forgiveness, which means basically if during 2019, if you had 20 FTEs and during you needed to have by June 30th 20 FTEs, and you needed, if you dropped anybody's pay, you needed to restate their pay to that same pre-COVID-19 level by June 30th. And so many of you all have struggled with that because you've had to lay off some employees, you've had to do some certain things. Here's the key. If this law is signed, or if this bill is signed into law, that date of June 30th, 2020 will be replaced by the end of the year. So you're going to have the opportunity to work on replacing those FTEs and getting closer to hopefully full forgiveness on your PPP loans. This is huge. This is huge. Many of you all that had to lay off folks, this is directly going to affect you and possibly be able to get increased in your loan forgiveness. The other part, here we go. So this is the exceptions. And so these are new things that they are adding in if this is approved, okay? These are exceptions that say if an employee, if you can't bring, so currently right now, what we have is if there's an employee that has passed away, if there's an employee that you have terminated for cause, if there's an employee that voluntarily resigns from your position, that's not going to count against your FTE count. Well, what they're now saying is that if you are unable to rehire, now this is just proposed, this isn't approved yet. If you are unable, point number one, if you are unable to rehire an individual who was an employee of the eligible recipient, which is the borrower, on or before February 15th. So if you're unable to rehire them, or if you are able to demonstrate an inability to hire similarly qualified individuals before the end of the year. Okay, well, think about that. That means that maybe you can't find someone to replace that person by the end of the year. Okay, so that would allow you some forgiveness on that FTE. And here, this is huge. And now I'm pulling these exact words from the document because I wanted to make sure, because this could mean some really cool, amazing things for some folks. Is able to demonstrate. And so I don't know what that word demonstrate means here, but we'll have to get clarification. An inability to return to the same level of business activity as such business was operating prior to February 15, 2020. So let's just say that your company, organization, whatever, has been really hurt by COVID-19. Your revenue has dropped, or your giving has dropped, or your number of people that go to your school has drastically dropped. And so you are not able to return to pre-February 15th. There looks like here there is an exception to the FTE rule. which again would be huge. And that would increase your loan forgiveness. Also, here it says no limitations in carrying out this section. Okay, carrying out this sections. Now this is above these things that I've highlighted above. The administrator, and that's the SBA in this situation, the administrator may not limit the non-payroll portion of the forgivable covered loan amount. Okay, think about that. May not limit the non-payroll portion of the forgivable loan amount. Well, currently, we are limited by 25% of our loan amount for non-payroll portion of the, to spend things on non-payroll items, which is mortgage interest, rent, utilities, and other debt obligations. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, to me, it means that that if this is approved, that these if you demonstrate, for example, if you demonstrate the inability to return to the same level of business activity, this is saying that you might be able to increase your non-payroll portion of your PPP loan, which is currently limited to 25%, to more than 25%. So this could help out a ton of organizations. All right. But I'm just putting it here because I don't have real clarity around this, but I'm giving you the information as fast as I can and as I go through it. Next one. Okay, new exceptions. So this is brand new. So there's nothing, anything currently that I can draw you to, but I want to read this to you. Exceptions based on employee availability. So what this is saying is the application of certain eligible recipients. The eligible recipient that received a covered loan before the date of enactment of this subsection may elect for the covered period application to such covered loan to end on the date that is 8 weeks after the date of the origination of such covered loan. So basically this is saying, if you don't want to play the new game of 24 weeks and or the lesser of by the end of this year, December 31st, 2020, then you can go back to the way that we're currently operating on, which is an 8-week covered period. So that's all what that exception is saying. Also here, this is the last point. They're allowing each organization, so all borrowers, so this is if the law is signed, and again, all borrowers will be able to delay their payment of the federal employer payroll taxes. Prior to this action, it was seen that this was a double dipping of a government benefit. So basically, way on down in the CARES Act, it's not even in the PPP program, it's actually way down in the bottom of the CARES Act. It's like section 2703 or something like that. It talks about that if you are participating in any part of the CARES Act, that you have to, there's no delay. You can't delay in your payroll taxes that are due. What this is saying is clearly, and they're striking that one section that I just referenced out of the CARES Act. And so they're allowing deferment or delay in employer payroll taxes, which would help. Now, it doesn't say when they delayed till, so it doesn't say how long you can delay that. So we don't have clarification on that. I'm sure we're going to get a lot more clarification out of this once it's written in the law. But that is what I know tonight. So again, it is May the, what is this? The 28th, Thursday, May the 28th. The House has just approved these changes to the Payroll Protection Program, Paycheck Protection Program. However, it still must go to the Senate and then on to the President to sign. It has to pass the Senate and has to go on to the President to sign. The senators might decide to make some changes. If they do, then it would have to go back to the House with those changes, and the House would vote on it. So both the House and the Senate have to approve it. Then it would go to the president, which would sign it. Anyway, huge changes that could possibly be in the works, and I wanted to let you all know as soon as I knew about them. Hope you have a wonderful evening, and we will for sure have a Facebook Live next week highlighting all of these changes. If this will drastically change the spreadsheet that Renee has produced. We will update all of the things that we are doing to support you in your forgiveness application. Hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you.